I've taken an assistant governor hostage in a maximum security, so everywhere I go I've got loads of prison officers around because they think I'm going to take another one, right? And
is that a 6 or 10 man unlock?
10-man unlock.
There you go.
What does that mean?
It means only 10 officers in riot gear with a governor, an SO and a PO can open your door.
Guys, you've obviously been on Laba before,
yeah,
but we want you to introduce yourselves. Who are you and why are you here today?
I'm Bobby Cummines, OBE, and I'm not a gangster, I never have been a gangster. I'm a businessman whose business was crime. And that's how I saw it. It was just business with me. If you look at the police books, it said he ruled North London for 10 years, was sawn off called Kennedy, and terrorised North London for 10 years.
I'm Marvin Herbert. I come from a mixed culture relationship. No blacks, no dogs, no Irish in the 70s. I got brought up in a racist environment, yeah, very conflictuous, drug dealing, drug addiction. I was addicted to crack and heroin from the age of 11, 12, 13 years of age. Dealing drugs and committing crime from 8, 9, 10, 11 years of age. Got all the way up to 17, 18, 19, started committing armed robberies. Like all the people like Bobby and them like I used to look up to as a kid, yeah. So I got involved in crime from school all the way through my adolescence.
What happened was I was working in a shipping office, so I'm a straight going kid, straight family. I go through Finsbury Park and with some kids I knew, they was all slung out of school because they were bad lads, fired a starting pistol. So 2-old Bill from Stoke Newington walked in and they're having a go at these kids. And I went, oh, you can't do that. And they went, do what? I said, you can't do that. I said, you've got to have a responsible adult here before you can talk to young fellas like that. He went, you seem to know a lot about the law. I said, I know my rights. And he went, is that right? And he's walked out at the park, they've come back, threw a cutthroat on the grass. He went, we just saw you throw that. So they've nicked me. So my dad's come to the law station and he said, what's going on? I said, they fitted me up. He went, what? I said, they fitted me up, they planted it. He went, policemen don't do that. I went, they did, I'm telling you. My dad says to me, he said, look, they said, if you go guilty, if you go up the steps, you're going to go balls or which I didn't care because a lot of my pals was in there. He said, but if you go guilty, he said, £10 fine, we walk out. He said, I'll pay the £10 fine. I went, all right, I'll take it. Took it. Biggest foolish mistake I made in my life, but I took it. Come out, but it's in the newspaper. Get the sack from my job. So I'm sitting there with the boys in the Greek cab, and I thought they was talking about what they was doing. They were doing silly stuff, you know? And I thought, they ain't organised. Now, I've always been an organiser. I can look at something and I can plan it. I've always been a planner. And I thought, this is a business, basically. This is why I always say I was never a gangster, never wanted to be a gangster. I wanted to run a business. But I think it's the thing about little people. We've got big egos, and my ego's 6'7" and 8 foot wide. You know, I've got to be the best at it. I can't just be good at it. I want to be better than all the rest. So they went, you're going to come in with us, Bob? I went, yeah, all right, but we do it my way. I said, because there's not enough cake here for all of us. And there was all little gangs, you know, from different manors, and like the Archway, Ivory and all that. So we've got to go to war. In them days, I thought I was invincible. I thought, yeah, I can do anything I want. And someone said to me, you can't do that. I went, I'm Bobby Cummines, so I can do what I like. I can shoot you if I want, you know? I can do anything I want. And I really believed I was invincible until they banged me up, and then...
How many years of crime was you...
What, crime or time in jail?
No, crime.
In crime, well, I was in it from the age of 16 right up until I got the OBE, basically.
So,
how many years is that?
So we're talking about 2011. I got the OBE on the New Year's Honours list, and I was at crime until 1966, so work it out.
45 years.
Oh, you done me, you done me. I'm 42 years. I'm 42 years in. Right?
So between us, we got nearly a ton.
Yeah.
Nearly 100 years. Anyone tell you can't do something, you're doing it.
Yeah.
Right, so growing up, I sort of looked at my life, my mum, my dad, and I wanted more. I wanted what all the other kids had. I wanted what everyone else had, right? There's stage in my life where I could never have what other people had. So I become fixated on Sweeney and things like that. Yeah. And then I started looking at things, thinking, oh, I want some of that, I like that. And then I put myself in the firing line to be groomed.
Yeah.
Because I was that kid,
Same,
right, that was
same.
eager
Same.
to do anything for you, to show you that I'm that guy. So, what you want them shot? How many times? 5 times. I'll do it. Don't even have to pay me. I'll show you what I'm game. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, you want them stabbed? You want this? You want that? I'll do it. Well, I'll show you. Boom. And I was always trying to please other people to be accepted. And then when I got accepted, it was, I'm a self-inflicted, groomed individual because I wanted the attention.
You wanted the accolade.
I wanted the accolade. I wanted to be on the landings. I wanted to be a cat A. I wanted to be the baddest gangster. I wanted to be hard. I wanted to have a gun. I wanted to get shot. I wanted to recover. I wanted to say, I f***ing got better. What? Ain't nothing wrong with getting shot, you mug. Because that was my mindset.
We had the other thing with the fish and chip shop. My mum and dad, all us boys just going fish and chip shop. Now these are straight people, right? Working from there from 11 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock at night, covered in fat. So I'll go up and see these people. And he went, they've got my daughter on heroin and they're trying to get her on the street, these 2 Turkish guys. I went, what? He said, they want her to be a prostitute. And I went, that ain't going to happen. He went, Bobby, we're working people. He said, we want it to go away. I said, I'll make it go away, don't worry about that. So I had invented this thing where I could put rock salt, take the pellets out of the shotgun, put rock salt in there, right, and do them with that. It stings, it rips the skin to pieces, but there's no forensic because it all melts with the hot blood, right? That was my little trick, but it sting. I used to call it the stinger. Yeah. And I said that one, and he's opened up a biscuit tin, Marvin. I've gone upstairs, opened up a biscuit tin. Now it's where he's obviously fiddling the tax, but that's their little life savings. He went, I went, I don't want your money. I said, what you do, if my mum and dad come in here or any of the boys for a fish and chips one night, you give them it free. I said, not do this. I said, it's going to go away. So I see Frank, I went back to the pub, because in them days I didn't drink at all, a bit of lemon. And I went to Frank, I said, that's terrible, you know. He said, I know, Bob. I went, get Kennedy in the morning, put rock salt in one, live one in the other. He went, what's happening? I said, we're going to work. So it comes around, they're in their little lockup, they was repairing cars, right? But they were selling heroin and all that. One's under the car, so I walked in, boom, done him in the fire. Went straight in the office, stuck the red hot gun to his brother's head. I went, if you ain't off this man in 24 hours, going to blow your brains out, you got where I'm coming from. So they got in 24 hours. Allegedly I did this, all right? Allegedly, right? Allegedly I did these things, right? And I always say allegedly because, you know, I ain't done it, right?
I used to believe, without a shadow of a doubt, I'm waking up in the morning, putting a gun down my side, getting out, putting my vest on, getting in my car, putting my gun in my hiding place, putting my bits and pieces back, driving to pick other people up with guns, and going to nick money with guns, and going to take drugs, and believing at the end of the day, looking in the mirror, that I'm sensible.
Yeah, but I know.
I'm looking back with retrospect now, right? Looking back, because I look back on my life.
It was lunacy.
And I was,
It was absolute lunacy. We was off our rocker, son. No two ways about it. We was off our rocker because we thought it was normal to do. Like we talked a lot about different things for our life. What was your highest point in crime in your life?
Oh, but the highest point I got to in my life, in that, was I was going to get, financially, I was going to get £88 million. And I felt this was the point, this was my life, this was it, this was all over, and this is what my life's been all about. But that died very quickly. That died very quickly. But that was the highest moment of my criminal career. What was your highest sort of, what was your peak moment or period?
Well, as I said to you, I didn't like bullies and I don't like people who abuse people. I'm brought up properly, I did violence for a living, I didn't do bad manners, right? The highest point, I think, has been the triads back down. I thought, now, I mean, you're talking about naughty thermia. I thought, I can do anything. I can do anything I want. But really, it was the worst point because it gave me such an ego, made me believe I was invincible, and that's what got me put away.
Funny you should say that, because that point, I had that with my dad at 14. From that point at 14 with my dad when I put a blade up to my dad's throat and backed him up out my house, told me get out, that point there, I thought I was invincible for the rest of my life. No one could touch me.
It's a weird feeling, that. It's a weird feeling, that.
I was psychologically prepared for the sentence, for the block, for the no remission, for the everything, right? So I knew I weren't getting no remission. I knew I was never getting a decat because I didn't want it. So I was going to go to prison, I was going to be bad, and I'm getting out on my EDR, so I've got no licence. That was my mindset.
That's right.
Yeah, so I didn't care about the rules and regulations in prison, and I weren't caring about the level of time in prison because I didn't care, because I know I'm making money in prison no matter what I'm doing anyway.
What went through my head is, when I was in prison, I thought, they went, well, can you do this? I said, I ain't doing nothing. And I went, I'm not playing your games.
I can walk
I said, I'm not playing your games. I said, you've played your cards. I said, what are you going to do? Put me in jail? You've got me down a block. You know, what more can you do? I ain't played my cards yet. And people took me very seriously. I went, no, you're playing your game. I ain't even started yet. And that's when I put the sit-downs in prisons and messed it up as much as I could. And they went to me about parole. I went, are you having a laugh? I said, I've taken an assistant governor hostage in a maximum security. So everywhere I go, I've got loads of prison officers around because they think I'm going to take another one, right?
And is that a 6 or 10 man unlock?
10 man unlock.
There you go.
What does that mean?
That means only 10 officers in riot gear with a governor, an SO and a PO can open your door.
But as Marvin was saying, and I pick up on what you were saying, if you're not prepared to, if you want to eat the meal, you've got to pick up the bill. So you've got to prepare yourself for prison. So what you have to do is you have to bring not only your body into prison, but your head into prison. So that's your life for X amount of years and whatever comes of it. Because when you're in maximum security, I mean, I've seen people stabbed to death in there. I've seen people cut their wrist, hang themselves in there. Geezers getting boiling water with salt, with sugar in it, straight over the head, burn their face off. People was killing each other. One of my pals got stabbed to death, Rocky Artie, over an onion.
I know.
Straight through the heart, killed him over an onion.
Well, what, over an onion? What?
Yeah. What happened was, with the onion, Rocky had got the mince and all that. You know, we used to nick the gear out the kitchen. All the others ate prison food. If you was connected, you ate good food. And what they've done, they've nicked the mince meat, they've got all the bits and bobs. It's an onion short. But what he didn't know, the other guy nicked the onion because they was doing bolognese that night and all. So Rocky's gone out, and it was a boxer, Rocky. He could have a row. And so he's got the onion. The guy went, oh, that's my onion. Rocky's gone on your bike. He's pulled the blade out, butcher's bone knife, was in the kitchen. Boof, done him right through the heart, killed him. So he died over an onion. Everyone says about serving a sentence, and you don't serve a sentence in places like in Parkhurst. What you do is survive a sentence. Because every day, that door opens. That's why you said the wedges in the door. That door opens, people could run in and do you while you're in bed.
And what a wedge is, right? So this is what I learned when I went to the Cat A jails, right? Basically, they chip a bit of the floor out.
That's right.
Then put a bolt in the chip, so when you try to push the door open, it can't open. Right? Because if you ain't got that, because in the cage jails, they'll come round, I think it's 7:45, they bust all your doors open.
Unlock, yeah.
Unlock. And then they leave the landing. So if you're going to get done in the cat jail, it's 7:30 in the morning, you get your doors open, you come in, they do you while you're kipping, and then that's it, you're done, yeah? So everyone's got these wedges, and I didn't know nothing about that when I went to the cat jail. I know nothing about that. And I got educated about all that sort of stuff.
Because everyone in there was a potential killer. When you're in Cat A, if they ain't done it, they're quite willing to. It was Parkhurst was the most politest place I ever went. No one pushed in queues, because if you didn't say good morning to someone, they get paranoid, think you're plotting up on them. They plot up on you. You had the IRA in there, the old Marvin. I had Reggie Craddown running the landing. I had Charlie next door to me, and San El Mesri, the guy who, Gaddafi's man, who shot the guy dead outside Regent's Park Mosque, with a death warrant from Gaddafi. We all used to get on together. And the sweetest thing is, everyone knew everyone's capabilities. We all know what we're capable of. So there's none of this, swanking about. You know you're dealing with the real deal with anyone you deal with.
What was your lowest point?
When my daughter died.
Damn.
Yeah.
Can't get any lower than that, can you?
I've got a bottle of brandy, right? I drank the whole bottle and couldn't get. It was that emotional. and I wanted to go out and I wanted to rip someone to pieces. The anger in me was, it was, you hear people say, you know, oh, you know, when you're baby, I know how you feel, because no, you don't. It's so personal to each individual. Even if you had a daughter who died, I couldn't say I know how you feel, because it's too personal. It's like someone's punched you and put a hole in your chest and ripped your heart out. It's the only thing that brought me to my knees. That's when I realised I wasn't invincible, that I was a human being. I could feel pain like other people, because I never felt it before. She died when she was born. Yeah. Done me.
I can imagine.
Done me for a long time afterwards. No. And that's why, if you like, in a way, that took away my brutality and gave me back my humanity. Yeah?
So,
I didn't want to hurt
it's always the trauma. So
yeah, I didn't want to hurt anyone anymore. And I never want to hurt anyone again. What was your last point, Marv?
Right, the lowest point I ever had in that criminal fraternity is when my son told me he didn't love me.
Yeah, yeah.
On the phone, I was in Parkhurst.
Yeah, yeah. Don't you?
And I rang up, I said, oh, let me speak to Dan. She said, I don't want to speak to her. I was like, what are you talking about? She said, I don't want to speak to her. And this is because they said I was a hitman in the paper.
Yes,
right, and I'd killed loads of people and stuff like that, My son, I've got to get on the phone and he don't want to speak to me. So I've said to him, put him on the phone. He said, don't want to speak to us. What are you talking about? I said, get him on the phone, put him on the phone. Just put him on the phone. And I said, what's the matter, son? He said, I don't love you no more. I don't like you. You're scary. And then put the phone down. And I went back to my cell and I cried my eyes out for about 2 days, right? And it was a turning point. But that was my lowest point, and I'll never forget that. I realised it weren't worth it for me, and I wanted to give it all up and do what I'm doing now. Do you know what I mean? Like,
is there an action you regret the most, Marv?
the only... See, yes, being a criminal. And as mad as it sounds, yeah, that's the only regret I have is being a criminal. Like, I just wish I had a better infrastructure in family and growth when I was a kid, and I just wish I'd have been able to go to school, college and university. However, I'm still proud of the person I've become, going through what I went through and achieving what I have. Is there a single thing you regret?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, on one wrap-up, so, you know, you do it all the time, tie them up, gag them, police come, untime, gag them, and you got that space. They're always chasing you a day behind you. And I always like my work to be clean. You know, if I'm not going to shoot you, I know it's going to take a lump out of you. But this happened, someone choked on their own vomit. That weren't supposed to happen. And it was an innocent. And I live with that even today for the rest of my life.
I can imagine.
That is one thing I can't get out of my nut.
There was one incident that I got involved in. It escalated into 19 shootings. But the one incident that I was alleged to be involved in, a guy got shot 6 times. And he was like my best mate growing up. And then, you know, like divide and conquer?
Yeah.
And one of my biggest regrets was being involved in that situation.
Yeah.
When I walked away from crime.
You're walking away from all your old pals.
What is it? It's not even the pals, it's the infrastructure, it's the money, it's the resources.
Yeah.
Like, one day you've got everything. You've got hundreds of thousands of pounds in products, millions of pounds in networks, you've got cash laying about everywhere, and you've just got to go, see you later.
Yeah.
Like, and then start with nothing. That was the scary bit for me.
Getting into a straight world, because if I wanted money before, I'd just get a gun and go and get it.
Yeah.
Right? But going in a straight world, I had to budget. And I was no good at budgeting. You know, I wanted money, I'd go out and take it. Yeah. You know, I had to relearn a whole lot of life skills, and it was scary.
How old was you when you had to learn all that?
When I came out of jail, I was in my 40s. So about 30 years. Yeah. And I had fixation in my head, I'm going to make a difference, I'm going to make it change. And that's why I was driven, I was on television, radio, 24/7. It nearly cost me my marriage, you know, I was there.
Yeah.
And I see changing happen, and I thought, now I've got to push it a bit harder, because, you know, I can't leave the thing half done. I've got to go right to the end of the game. Yeah. And I pushed it, and it started off with £6 in my garage, me and my mate Mark, so I had £6 in my garage. Then it became a national charity, and then I applied, the government then going, but hold up, this guy's a bit lively. So
what you set up, right, with your charity, and the laws you changed, and the position you got yourself into, right, absolutely inspired me to be the man I am today. Without Bobby, I couldn't get insured on a car. I couldn't get house insurance. I wouldn't get a job. If I never see you and Mark going to Buckingham Palace and getting that knighthood and being around these people, I would never believe I could go straight. You were the beacon.
it's not a knighthood, it's an OBE.
Well, you know,
Officer of the British.
it's the same. To me, it's the same thing. Like, is it? You getting touched by a sword by the Queen?
No, no. I'd never let anyone go near me with a blade, not even if she might go, gotcha. No one's coming near my throat with a blade. Let me tell you, it was in you, but you didn't know it was in you. I know where your heart is, right? And you're a diamond to me, and I love you with all my heart.
Well, absolutely amazing to have you on.
And you, my marvellous.
I'll be seeing you very soon.
So you'd have to stalk them for a little while, know their whereabouts, what they're doing, where they go, who they talk with, you know. And then you'd find a place, you isolate them and you shoot them then. It's like anything, whether you're shooting them, cutting them. Once you've done one, half a dozen ain't too many.